Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in a different location. Even in perspective and in mood or attitude, and I suppose that's the subject, part of the subject. Talking to the microphone more. I don't know if that'll help. Yeah, probably not. I should move that over, actually. I should do a lot of things that I don't do. Because there's a lot to do. Simple machine, complex environment to have to navigate. Anyway. Should be the other way around, maybe. Or not. So anyway, so the subject I was going to do was this idea of you can basically synthesize everything we're doing to some mechanical function. Even our thoughts, all these notions of free will and all that crap are just that crap. It all comes from somewhere. There's all just a cause and effect universe. You really can't escape the physics, and even if you try, it's logically stupid, like religion, as an answer to creation. Now, if you want to have religion because you just like the idea of a God, fine. But if you think God answers the question of origins, it really doesn't, because then you're still stuck with where did God come from? I mean, get real. The most complex thing in the universe can come from nowhere, and something not as complex, and obviously something that can be understood to have evolved on Earth. Clearly, there's no way that adds up. That the creator doesn't have to have a creator, but somehow the stupid little bug does. Anyway, so sort of in line with that, the Brett Keane has made a video. So my agenda has changed slightly because it sort of gets to the point. just in the way he introduces the video is sort of the subject, which relates to a modern mystic video on why are assholes assholes, and why are people who aren't assholes not assholes. And the answer is because, yes, they've had a different life experience, as the simple answer. But I would add to that, unlike the modern mystic who thinks that's all there is to the story, shitty parents, good parents, the end, kind of thing. When I think this story is more complicated, in the sense, as I pointed out before, we're sitting here as we live our lives, and we can see the script we're reading. We can see ourselves, say, beat our wife, or ignore our children, or do something shitty, and we can watch it happen. And that's a lot different, in the sense that we can know it's a bad script we're reading, and we can say, hey, I shouldn't be reading a bad script. So in that sense, we can learn. It's a simple word, and some people are belligerent to learning, it seems, and they just don't want to play by the rules of logic and reasonable brain function, i.e. Brett Keane.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brett Keane from
Blah, 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 blah. So he's still pretending he's a godfather when he's not, but whatever.
God TV Radio.
Yeah, I'm sure God just loves the image you portray in defense of his existence. I mean, I'm sure your thought process is, oh yeah, God's going to be so proud of me. No, I don't think so.
I'm over here eating Italian ice. I know that's going to annoy the fuck out of the Mendham.
It's not going to annoy the fuck out of me. It's just going to annoy me, in the sense that, well, what's the rationale of these people? I mean, it's not that much work making the video. And to deny yourself the right to belch and fart and eat it seems that's not asking too fucking much. And, you know, for your ladies and gentlemen, seems like that's the least you could do for them. I mean, people don't go on TED Talks, like, say, and say, I'm going to make an argument, and I'll eat some ho-hos while I'm doing it. Or, you know, the newscasters don't sit there and snack on Cheez-Its while they're doing the news. I mean, you know, because it's a competitive environment, the real world, and most people, okay, don't feel a little dissed, you know, if you can't do something, you know, to be less obnoxious. A little bit. I mean, try a little bit.
He hates it whenever I eat on a video. For some reason, it bothers him.
Well, most people, yeah, they eat poorly. And, you know, look, you know, you have the whole gumming your food thing and lots of, you know, shit happens, I understand. But it's like, yeah, you have to understand that, like, you know, it's kind of disgusting that somebody could find it disgusting. And it just really just won't be pleasant to watch. And you can't understand that? I mean, that's beyond your, I mean, it's just, that's impossible? That's what your brain says to you? It's impossible that somebody could find that disgusting. That's what you think?
You know, to be honest with you, every fucking thing on the planet bothers him. Everything in the fucking universe pisses him off, so...
Yeah, there's a lot to be pissed off by. Now, if you don't think so, okay. I think you're glib and stupid and ignorant. Really ignorant. But most of the things I point out bothering me have to do with profound and deep and harsh suffering that's endured by human beings. And taking a little bit of time out of our glib little fun to recognize that this isn't for free, that this game isn't some kind of free lunch where nobody gets hurt, and all these people are talking as if it is. And I think a little bit of respect should be paid to the victims. Gee, that's asking too much, huh? Huh? You know, we should just watch the war victory parades and never pay any attention to all the little bodies all burned and crispy in the foxholes, and you know, all the weeks and months of horrible pain and misery endured. Oh, no, let's just watch victory parades. You're a fucking retard.
I guess he'll just have to deal with it. My fucking face probably pisses him off.
Well, you can't figure out how it might irritate people. Yeah, you know, that's right. I'm sorry, but yeah. Yeah, you have a pretty good voice, and you know there's other things in your benefit, but you know you have to kind of try to minimize your deficits. I make some effort, some.
Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
I find it hysterical to listen to him. He goes over to Google Images and he types in evolution, and carries on for about an hour.
Yes, all my videos I carry on for about an hour. That's the way I make a video. It's been doing it for a decade. Well, as soon as they let me do it. So what's the big deal? That's right. I'm attempting to explain things that aren't maybe as obvious as, I don't know. I don't know how many things are obvious to you. Is it obvious to you that you shouldn't eat dog do? But, you know, some things aren't as obvious as that.
Talking about how other people don't understand evolution, and he attempts to explain it as though he knows something about it, as though he actually knows facts or has some kind of evidence.
Well, let's see if he makes any kind of argument pointing out how anything I've said is incorrect. Let's see if that happens.
About it. He's also pissed because he doesn't feel like he can describe it properly, which he's right. It's absolute bullshit, everything he's talking about.
Okay, so this is just a bunch of bullshit. That's right, you just talked a little bullshit, so why don't you deal with some facts?
But I'll give you an example of something, and Gary will end up admitting that in his own stupid little way on why it is he's wrong about evolution and doesn't even comprehend it.
Yeah, right. So again, more statements without a single reference to a single fact. So again, just useless for the process of logic and reasoning.
Gary's never been in a college or any kind of university. He's never actually went into a lab and looked at any of the information out there. He's just like...
So what's the difference? You read the books. That's not, what, 90% of the information? So again, you all need somebody to hold your hand to teach you anything. You can't just read the manual. I frankly can. I mean, you can read the schematic, for example, for a washer and dryer. And you can figure out what parts are doing what, how they're switching what, everything's right there. And you can at least figure out what parts you can touch and which parts you can't touch without getting electrocuted. That kind of thing. And that's the most of the game, asshole. Having some friend, teacher, hold your little hand through the process. Maybe you need that, but some of us don't.
Every other bumfuck atheist out there on the internet who goes to Google or Wikipedia and looks up these fucking...
Yeah, whatever. These are brilliant arguments. I mean, you're just totally annihilating us with this, brilliant compilation of fact. Oh, that's right. There are no facts here.
Images of cartoons of people transforming from fucking fish to squids to bubbles and boogers and goo to the zoo and all that bullshit.
We ain't related to minkies, and yet you look like a fat minky to me.
He's convinced that he evolved from a fucking baboon.
And you're not talking better than one. I mean, again, this is just such an empty, vacuous argument.
Sure, but he's never actually taken the time. He always...
See, even baboons are restricted in their behavior, right? There are certain rules of being a baboon, for example. And they have inhibitions against certain behaviors because certain behaviors will get them beat up by the rest of the baboons, that kind of thing. And you're pretending you can't even behave by those rules. You are so glib and disconnected from even any processing through a brain that you aren't even acknowledging the existence of such inhibitions as being psychologically purposeful. The idea is not to annoy everybody. Yeah, I've given you a clue on how to play the game there, Brett.
Always tells people they need to be skeptical and they need to look into the science, but he's not actually looking into the fucking science. He's looking on the internet.
Whatever. So again, just an accusation with no evidence. I mean, but the process really isn't that complicated. And yes, I did read Darwin's book, and I read it more than once because it has, lots of little details in it. But it basically just chronicles all the reasons to believe, in the sense that the geology says so, the biology says so, and certainly the attributes of the organisms say so. There's no other rational explanation for the existence of these organisms and the condition they're in. It's just fucking obvious. It's obvious the sea iguana is a relative of the regular iguana, the South American iguana. It's obvious.
The same fucking search engine that he talks about how much he hates because they're liars and they're fucking pieces of shit.
Right, so this is another baboon who thinks, frankly, you get in the comments, I use DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo uses Google and Microsoft. It's not a search engine. They don't have their own algorithm. They just steal results from the other search engines and compile them. It's not a search engine. It's not an alternative. Hey, people are just so fucking stupid.
Which, I agree with him on. Google is full of shit and the internet's full of nonsense and lies. So if that's true, and he's never actually been in a fucking lab himself, and he's never actually been out...
Let's see, this is the irony, is that I had a much better education than you, apparently. Because, frankly, in sixth grade, we did cloud chamber experiments, with real radioactive isotopes. So, yeah, I sort of have done lab work. And in high school, a lot of subjects were elective, and I took those on purpose. I took extra, okay, chemistry and biology that I didn't have to take.
And undug some fossils or anything. The best he's probably done in his entire life is bury a fucking cat. How the fuck does he know what the hell he's even talking about?
So again, there's just no references to an actual facts anywhere here. You know, no comparison of two arguments and saying this argument's really cool. This God done it. He invented a parasitic system. Well, really, it was all perfect. You know, no parasites. Nobody ate anything else. Lions lie down with lambs for some biologically insensible reason, and I guess they ate grass or something, and everything was just wonderful and perfect. And because Eve gave Adam an apple from the tree of knowledge, oh my God, what a horrible thing to do. Everybody has to be tortured forever. Oh, what a brilliant God you have. He's just so frickin' brilliant. Not.
He doesn't. I remember talking to this asshole back in the day about veganism and about the suffering of humanity and antinatalism and all that. And this guy used to...
This guy's younger than me. Let's point that out. And yes, obviously he's going to be dead long before me. Yeah. Just good plan, Brett.
Tell me about what is right and what is wrong and what would be right to eat and what would be wrong to do and blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. So just more glib crap. So again, fuck. Hey, war isn't wrong because we get to celebrate and fuck chicks and celebrate and get drunk when it's over. And so it's really cool. And fuck the victims. They're just losers. Fuck them. Who cares? That's all he's saying. I'm too important to care about victims. So really, he deserves no empathy at all, clearly. Nobody should give a fuck whether this asshole, you know, gets doomed. I mean, a tornado wipes him out. We all should probably applaud that, hey, finally, a little bit of justice in the universe.
Blah, 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 blah. But
so that's his statement. I mean, it's clear. Blah, 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 blah. Victims, fuck them in the ass till dead. And this is some faker who pretends to care about his adopted, whatever, paralyzed children and shit. You know, the ones he takes in for money. Yeah, sure. You evil bastard.
This fucking guy doesn't even believe in God. So this means that he doesn't...
Yes, hardly as... Wow, what a surprise. Somebody who's not a complete idiot. Woohoo! Yes, I never believed there was a God. I just couldn't fucking imagine how this story could be true. Because it's so fucking silly.
Doesn't believe in objective morality. Doesn't believe in objective...
Of course I do believe in those things. That's exactly what I argue in the video. It's funny that you missed that part where I'm actually arguing that we can all know that it's really not polite to eat in other people's faces for no good reason. And that's a sense one of these things, these moral things, that yes, you do unto others as you'd have others do unto you, because it's logical, not because God says so, just because human beings can understand that. They can understand, hey, if I don't kick somebody in the nuts, they won't kick me in the nuts. Gee, I can figure that out all on my own. I don't need a magical, you know, whatever in the sky to figure that out.
Of right or wrong. So who the fuck is this dumb potato talking to whenever he...
So again, just useless rhetoric. You know, so that's all you got. Fatty? This useless crap? Fatty?
He's telling people that they're fucking wrong for what they're doing and how they live their life when he doesn't even believe in intrinsic or objective morality himself.
So again, I don't believe in anything called morality. I believe in value equations, and clearly I'm arguing that they all have solid logical outcomes, that the person is either guilty or innocent of the crimes charged in the trial, and that we do, in fact, have enough evidence to figure out what guilt and innocence is. And so, yes, I believe that there is an objectively better answer to all questions.
So, He's quite the character. And I noticed that he's only got like 11,000 subscribers. I used to watch him 3 fucking years ago, and that's the exact...
Yes, well, you know, that's partly a commentary on life on Earth, because, yes, I don't do all the little silly patronizing things. I don't tell people how marvelous they are. I don't lie to their face. I don't call them, hey, YouTubers. I don't do a bunch of bullshit that apparently people need to be stroked. And you need to network, and you need to create clubs, and you need to create cults, and all this crap, and I don't do any of that. But besides that, I also don't have a message that glib, selfish fucks are interested in. The dumb fucks who breed, and that kind of thing. The average human doesn't want to hear about how they suck, and they do in fact suck.
Same amount that he had back then. He has not actually evolved at all on YouTube. But, you know, to be...
Frankly, because I don't need to. That's the whole point of the argument I'm making. Is that once you have right answers, oh yeah, we're done. It's time to close the book.
Fair. Inmendham, I think, could have actually expanded his subscription base. I think that he probably got shadow banned by YouTube. He probably got taken out of the record.
Yeah, that's right. I had my channels annihilated more than once for no good reason at all. Yeah, there was lots of impediments thrown in the road that don't help any. But who cares? Again, I never monetized. I never played by their rules. So obviously they're not going to promote content for which they're not making any money on. Blah, 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 blah. But who cares? I'm not going to argue that, again, this is a message people want to hear. People want to watch fucking cartoons. And they want to watch train wrecks, like you. And that's just a fact. Fail videos are very, very popular on YouTube. People love watching failures, Brett. Hint, hint.
Recommendations and autoplay into other people's videos. And his videos have probably been hit in an algorithm where he's not showing up in the side panel anymore. So that's probably not his fucking fault. He'd probably have a...
Yes, and lots of my videos have been put in over 18 and all that kind of crap and blah, 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 yes.
A couple more thousand by now. And the reason why is because, let's face it, motherfuckers, train wrecks are fun. They're interesting. Everybody loves a good car crash. George Carlin pointed out long ago, he said...
Yeah, yes, and that's one of those things that we should be pointing out is bad. That's a bad character trait. Like eating in people's faces, it's bad. And it's much worse, obviously. It's really, really bad that people are entertained by other people's torture and suffering. And other animals being tortured and suffering. They shouldn't find that intriguing and wow and exciting. No, it's not exciting. And if it was happening to them, they wouldn't think so likewise. And the fact that they can't even do that, what if it was me? Would I want everybody to be laughing? Maybe not.
We love it when we see fucking cars spin up in the air on fire and blow up and shit. That's the whole reason why we watch idiots run around at 100 miles per hour in a fucking circle.
You do. So we don't do that. You do that. The glib do that.
But he doesn't know shit about evolution. He doesn't have one single piece of fucking evidence to show that we actually evolved from a fish.
Well, except for all of the circumstantial evidence, right? The 5 fingers, the bones, the skeleton. And then you get into the genetics and you're really done. Then the fossil record does have a huge number of intermediate species in it. So, fuck you, you're an idiot.
He doesn't even know that the primordial ooze theory was debunked almost fucking 90 years ago. 90 fucking years ago. Now they're claiming that we...
Another fat pig like yourself said, I debunked it. Is that what happened? Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, I didn't take that too seriously. Sorry. Like you, Brett, I didn't take that seriously. It's not a real argument, in other words. It's just some blowhard.
Come from the energy vents of an ocean Which there's no way to prove that. How the fuck are you...
Oh yeah, so yeah, that's another one of the basic fundamental arguments of our fishiness is the fact that our blood has the same exact salt content as the ocean still. Wow, that seems a little coincidental, huh?
Going to find any kind of trace of the ancestor of humanity if it was in the ocean and came from some fucking vent. They don't even know where that came from or where it's located.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. We don't know where the vents come from. Well, they come from the fact that the earth is all fucked up as you go deeper and deeper. It gets hotter, hot as hell down there. And that's where the vent comes from. Is stuff is melting and excretes gaseous materials.
How the fuck can you tell if we actually look like lizards and amphibians?
Yes, we actually do look a little like a pig. Frankly, it's just, you have kind of the pig nose thing and go in and pour you there. And so you do actually look a little bit like one.
Amphibians and all kinds of other bullshit that supposedly crossed out of the ocean and somehow grew...
Yeah, whatever. So this is like, what? The nursery school argument against evolution. I mean, you're really not going to deal with anything like the hip bones inside of a dolphin or any of that kind of interesting stuff. Like, there's just no accounting for it. There's just no accounting for it.
Fucking lungs and came up on land. How can you actually do this? You're not going to be able to get any DNA samples, and you're sure as hell not going to get...
Yeah, we have DNA samples of the living ancestors, so to speak, in the sense of the ones that did survive. I mean, there's organisms still walking the earth that are hundreds of millions of years old. Fact there, Brett.
In the skin, this is claiming that the earth is 4.5 billion years old and that humanity has went through this evolutionary process for over millions and millions of fucking years.
Oh, so he just threw up in his fist. I mean, you're just such a class act, Brett. Man, you just make us all look like such fools. You're such an intellectual.
Yeah. So how the fuck do you trace it? And there's absolutely...
So again, how the fuck you do it is like how Darwin did it, by deduction. You take a fact, and the Galapagos Islands, the ones that are furthest away, are the least rocky and have the most soil and are the most habitable, and the ones closer, further west, are rockier and hotter and still steaming and all that kind of crap. And you do this logical deduction thing. Oh, those islands are much colder than this island. Gee. I mean, it's not that hard to do, Brett.
No transitional fossils either.
Yes, and that was explained by Stephen Gould. Punctuated equilibrium, the logical fact that we all know, you should know, Brett, inbreeding creates mutants, and evolution is all about mutation, and it really doesn't care that a few of them croak and die easy, because what it really is after is innovation. Innovate, innovate, innovate. That's all that really matters. So it's really good for evolution, for families to go off on their own and fuck each other. Yeah, evolution likes that.
You'll never see... One of the things that they claim that we came from is like an ancient fucking rat-like creature that we supposedly... What was it? I forget what the fucking thing was, but it looks like a gerbil. It's got a big, long fucking tail.
So anyway, so how any of that means anything, but clearly there's humans born with tails. Right now, it happens every year. A certain number of humans are born with a tail. So why don't you explain why God makes those kind of mistakes?
And shit. I'm sure some asshole out there tell me what his grandpa was. He'll give me the right name for his grandpa. But this fucking thing supposedly learned how to climb trees. And then it ended up getting bigger, probably from chewing on fucking bananas and shit.
Yes, learning is part of the evolutionary process in the sense that organisms developed more and more capacity to learn about their environment, and that way adapt to it. So they didn't have to just run programs that said do something. Like a turtle, for example, is born knowing already how to get to the ocean. Certain animals have to use that kind of mechanism, like herd animals are born 2 hours later, they're running. They don't have to learn how to run. It's built in, that kind of thing. And there's a difference between animals that are built that way and animals that are built to slowly acquire the resource, to program the device to the environment that actually exists. And so it's a slower and harder process. But there's clear advantages to the greater capacity for innovation that's allowed when the organism can learn to its environment.
And then it ended up getting bigger and turning into a fucking primate. And this, of course, is Inmendham's family and shit. And don't get me wrong, when I watch Gary's videos, like,
yeah, if you want to do some sort of genetic competition, you want to put family against family. My family's going to kick your family's ass, Brett. I don't have any child molesters in my family. They're all accomplished types.
Completely understand why he would think this. When I look at Gary, I see a similarity between him and that of a fucking chimp. So I get it.
Right. And we're watching you do, like, just monkey behavior. Well, I have to eat my Italian ice while I make my video, and then later I'll be eating my slam burgers and my whatevers, and because that's all I do is sit and eat. Like some kind of caged hippopotamus.
His behavior is unbelievable. So,
Just amazing. Just an amazing statement coming from the source. Again, he can't think for himself. He can't figure this out all on his own. That, oh man, I am in such a glass house. I shouldn't be throwing any of these idiotic stones. Because, fuck, the glass is so thin on my walls. You really can't just even figure out that part.
oh, yeah. It's just that he's so indoctrinated into this bullshit. And you know what's...
Yeah, see, indoctrinated people cite their sources and say, oh yeah, well, so-and-so says. Now, you'll never hear me saying so-and-so says. Ever. I'm making the arguments. So the arguments I read in Darwin's book, I present the arguments. I don't cite, believe it because Darwin says so. I don't do any of that crap, ever. Ever. I'm making the logical argument itself. I explain why you should do unto others as you would have others do unto you. I don't just proclaim it and say, that's the rule. I attempt to explain that you can sort of see the logic of it. You see, if you create an environment for others, okay, that's safe and secure, then they won't feel hostile and won't feel any need to be defensive and to shoot you, for example, and other things that'll threaten your existence. If you can calm them down, you see, that's the whole idea, is to calm everything down, not to provoke and excite things. That one's probably just too tangential for you to understand.
really, really fucking sad about Gary is that, in a way, Gary comes off like he's intelligent, and he claims that he's about skepticism, facts, and evidence.
Yeah, there are a ton of arguments, and you don't reference any of those. You just make these like ad hominem statements as if you've somehow proven I'm wrong about something, when you haven't cited a single one of my quotable quotes.
Like I said, he's never even been in any of this shit. He's never actually experimented for himself. He's doing it.
Experimented with what? Yes. How do you know what I have experimented with, Brett? Oh, that's right. You have no idea whatsoever. I did raise fish. Again, a ton of Darwin's references to proofs of evolution were from breeders, of sheep and birds. and clearly indicating how selection works. And so obviously natural selection, once you understand what selection is, you can understand that, oh yes, nature also does this selection process. If you're killed when you're 10, you won't reproduce. Oh, it's not that complicated, Brett.
Exactly what he tells religious people as well as other atheists. They're fucking stupid because...
Yeah, I don't bother with religious people. There's no point in making arguments because they're liars. They don't really believe in the stupid God, it's clear. If I believed in the God, I know how I would be behaving, and I know what I would be saying. First, I would know I'd be representing God, which means, holy fuck, I really got to get my P's and Q's in the right order because, fuck, I'm representing somebody else. And that's a responsibility. And this is the most important thing in the universe, the Holy One. I'm going to be a representative for Him. That would scare the fuck out of me. I would be very, very careful. I would be very, very humble in my presentation. I would be just trying to do everything I could to be honorable to the Lord. And then in my personal life, of course, I would be perfect and beautiful and wonderful in the sense that yes, I would be understanding that if I get killed, it doesn't matter. If I get harmed, it doesn't matter because it's all for the glory of God. You know, that it's all His plan. You know, He's just pulling my little puppet strings and blah, 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 blah. I mean, none of you people have any faith in your fucking God, so you're just fucking liars, and you're belligerently devoted to your own selfishness. And so you've taken this God thing and molded it into a selfish suit and given yourself license to be an asshole in the name of your Lord that you don't believe in. So you're despicable human beings. So yes, what's the point in talking to people that fucking corrupt? Will they be persuaded by logic? No, I think they're only going to be persuaded by a Mack truck going about 70 miles an hour.
They don't do enough research or study. Study what? Google? The very fucking...
So again, as if Google is the one actually producing the content, which it isn't. I'm saying Google is a horrible, corrupt thing to have as a national database, to use as the card catalog of the library. This corrupt, for-profit advertising company shouldn't be the place you go to figure out what books are in the library. So yes, I think that's just plain stupid. Do I think all the books in the library are stupid? No. Does Google get every single reference wrong? No.
Company that you hate and you know lies and bullshits you and fuck you in the ass? Are you kidding me?
And again, it just provide me the rational alternative and I'm there tomorrow. So again, this is just such a bullshit argument, and you people are all too ignorant to understand the difference between a search engine, that is something that actually has a mechanical algorithm that spiders the internet, finds the results and compiles them, and some company who just takes results from the other corporations and compiles those. You can't even figure the difference between those things out. And here you are giving advice. That's just all part of your fakeness and your fraud, is that you don't even have enough humility to know when you're completely incompetent and you have really no right to open your gob because you're so fucking ignorant.
You know damn well, inmendham, that guys like Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Asshole and Sam Harris and all these supposed intelligent fucking atheists who claim...
So again, these aren't people that I have any respect for. But regardless, it doesn't matter. Again, we're not arguing that everything they say is bullshit. The argument is that, like most humans, they go beyond their competence and pretend that everything they say has the same credibility. And it doesn't.
To be scientist or got some piece of paper that says it's official, that they...
You just don't assume that because somebody writes a great song that every song they write is going to be great, right? I mean, that would be illogical to have that assumption, because we know that a lot of it is one-hit wonder kind of stuff. I mean, They're brilliant once, and every other day of the week they suck.
In a moment, if they were offered money and shit to get on TV and sell fucking ice cream cones in 80 million different genders, or tell...
Well, whatever this all means. So now he's just putting in a pot shot against the, again, the neurotic types who, you know, have had a harsh life experience in some way, some life experience that has made them different in terms of what they enjoy. And therefore you need to persecute them for something. Because they don't enjoy what you enjoy. Gee, how religious of you.
Some radical fucking story that they have no evidence for. They do it in a heartbeat. You know damn well. So why the fuck should we...
There's nothing radical. Again, evolution is the first default explanation, and it just, we weren't smart enough 1,000 years ago to choose the default, because we didn't know what thunder and lightning was, and we didn't know what microbes were, we didn't know what causes disease, we didn't know what caused the weather. Humans were profoundly ignorant. God is a product of profound ignorance. Simple, what can be just called common knowledge now. The default answer is evolution.
We believe anything these people say without actually experiencing.
So again, let's put their credibility against yours. You know, I mean, frankly, it's not going to be anything like a contest. Not even close. You lose, Brett.
And seeing the evidence for itself. You don't give me this fucking nonsense about, well, if you go to Google, you're going to see some fucking dead things. You're going to see some bones amongst the millions and millions of fucking cartoons and CGI and stupid bull.
Yeah, whatever. None of that stuff has anything to do with the substance of the argument. The argument was made decisively long before CGI visualizations. You don't need those. Those aren't evidence.
Bullshit illustrations. So, I don't know. And who the fuck are you anyway to tell me if I'm right or wrong when you don't even...
Because I make an argument. I explain why you're right or wrong. That's who the fuck I am. The guy who makes the actual argument based on some kind of factual compilation of evidence. So let's present the evidence. What is Brett Keane? Well, a preposterous, lying hypocrite. What has Brett Keane done his whole life? Lied and deceived people. So, I mean, you're going to lose, Brett, in court. You're going to lose, and you know that. So, you know, this idea that you're going to, like, reference, oh, yeah, I'm up for the challenge. I'll stake my reputation on it. What reputation? Your reputation is that you will you will mold to whoever's going to pay you $10. I can pay you $10 to say anything. If I want Brett Keane to say something, I just pay him and he'll say it. I mean, fuck, this isn't complicated. Your words have no integrity. They mean nothing to anybody who has any kind of knowledge of who the fuck you are, which is a sack of bullshit.
Believe in objective morality. You don't even believe that there is such a thing.
So he said it again when obviously I have argued for exactly that, an objective, that value equations like mathematical equations have right answers and wrong answer, and that's it. There's one right answer and the rest are wrong. There's one best answer and the rest are something else, and that's just the truth.
Thing is right and wrong. Everything that you think and what you fucking believe is subjective.
So it is hilarious. I don't believe in right and wrong when all my videos are on the subject of right and wrong. Just amazingly, I mean, you're just making this so easy for me to just say, well, what are you, insane? I mean, you obviously haven't paid any attention at all. I preach morality in all my videos, all of them. I mean, morality, and again, replace the word morality with what I consider to be the more rational words like ethics and values.
So who the fuck are you?
Doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that porpoises have hip bones. That kind of stuff matters. Your bullshit doesn't mean anything to somebody who cares about facts. Somebody who cares about the truth. Nothing you said in this entire video could mean a damn thing. Because you didn't reference anything called a fact.
I'm going to be making some videos in the future, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to kick the shit out of Vegan Gains as well as Onision. I just feel like just...
Oh yeah, you're just going to pick any target that has more popularity than you to pretend that you're relevant when you're not. So, and clearly this video was just so poor, so my bad for giving it any exposure. I haven't even heard Brett Keene's name in like 4 years, and so since whenever the fake Sagan, fuck pouch bullshit. Yeah. So whatever, my bad for playing with garbage. Sorry. It was just familiar. It's a nostalgic thing. Sometimes you play an old 50s song just because, yeah, it's nostalgic. Then you say, oh, wait a minute, that really sucked. Why the fuck did I listen to that shit? So yeah, my bad. So anyway, on to something better, like me.
Alright, this is probably a useless test because there's probably too much noise. But anyway, we'll do it for the fun of it. So, subject.
So, outside video, I said useless test. Alright, so I won't play this whole thing because this will take way too long. Don't know if it really wasn't. Well, most of these videos aren't as concise as they probably need to be. And I mean by concise is I'm just making this set of arguments, boom, 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 saving you a bunch of time. Yeah, I'm still doing this in a conversational way, and it's it's probably time to engineer it more efficiently for the sake of the person who just doesn't have patience. I guess.
Is basically the distinction between a robot. See, now I can waste.
See, so I got a whiteboard, obviously. And I don't know if I like it or not, but we'll see. It's very cheap, so not a huge investment.
It's time just almost spelling things versus whatever, human. No.
So yeah, see, it just seemed to just waste time doing the drawing. But anyway, and the bigger you write, the longer it takes. But anyway, so this point I sort of wanted to make was this idea that we could make a synthetic human. We're already synthetic. I mean, we're already robots in ourselves. And the only thing that would be different than a robot we make is that it won't have the gooiness. It's going to be really hard for us to synthesize the actual function of not the function of sensations, but the actual what we feel, conscious feelings. Now, the idea of processing, that is understanding there's a tree in front of me, I need to go around the tree, it's better to go around the right side than the left side because I'm canted in my, I'm not coming directly at the tree, I'm a little bit over on this side of the tree, so it's better I go around the tree that way. Those calculations, most of the scheming we do, most of the processing, that is easy to synthesize. Computers can do that. The tricky part is creating this program that says, I have a feeling about trees. Trees are, some people, trees are friendly. Some people, trees are places bugs hide. Some people, like maybe me, trees are symbols of evolution, and they have a bunch of blood dripping out of them, and, horrible. So everybody has this little different relationship as a feeling to trees based on what they've experienced in their life, what trees have, how they've impacted them through their life. And so the same with the ocean. You could look at the ocean. Well, if you're somebody where your uncle drowned in the ocean, the ocean's going to remind you of drowning, and drowning's going to remind you of your own vulnerability, and that any time now I could be killed by something stupid like the ocean. you know, so we all have different reactions to our the same things because we've had different histories with those things. But it's just a sensation. So in a sense, it could be synthesized as a plus or a minus. There could just be another program that says, you know, through the calculation, oh, tree is 15% negative and, you know, 85% positive, and some kind of evaluation or stamp is put on the tree by a program, and that program essentially just synthesizes or represents what we feel about things. And so you could sort of represent feelings as an evaluation, because that's all they really are. They're a personal evaluation. They're not a clinical or mechanical, thoughtful evaluation. They're an impulse evaluation. And so that's really the only distinction, you know, between feelings and thoughts, is the feelings are, you know, they're quickly added up, and it's a reaction that it just reeks of value. It's a value statement being made, but it's not a very logical value statement. Not very logical in the context of understanding you're in a whole world. There's 7 billion people. The odds of your uncle drowning in the ocean were 10 million to 1. It doesn't happen all that often. Blah, 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 blah.
We made an android, and the android had what could be called a feeling program. That is some sort of program that was obnoxious to the other programs. That is, it always took precedent as a statement. It would make a statement. You could say a statement like, "I feel bad." A statement that would be undone. It would always have a consequence that some negative thing happened, and it's just decidedly negative. "I don't feel good," it would say. It wouldn't have to feel it, but as long as no other program could supersede it with some sort of statement that would undo it or erase it.
So that's the key thing to what we personally feel, is that you can't, there's no mechanics for us to undo it or delete it or pretend it doesn't exist. Once we feel it, experience it, it's automatically just saying, I'm vulnerable to this feeling in the first place. Just even thinking about it's unpleasant, and then thinking about it actually happening is more unpleasant, and it just, you know, but it can't be undone. You can't just thought your way out of recognizing threat. So the threat of bad feelings, feeling bad, being tortured, can't be undone by some rationalization that it somehow doesn't matter. And even if you were to say logically, well, you know, we're just drawing straws, and you draw the short straw, you're still going to say somehow, I don't want to do it. You know, so the innate selfish interest program and the innate negativity of the sensations can't be undone by some other program that just says, don't pay any attention to that threat. That's sort of the point I want to make. The real power of our emotions is the fact that we can't evade having to experience them. And so whatever robot we would attempt to give that capacity to, it would have to have these basic innate programs would have to be, they couldn't be negated by the other programs. They would always have to be they could never be extracted from the logic through some, you know, word game.
As a fact. And they could still do the same calculations we do, in the sense that basically living our lives, we have sensations associated with activities, and depending on our personal luck and our personal condition, you can enjoy or not enjoy an event. And even different kinds of trauma, different kinds of unpleasant experiences can be made worse by the fact that there could be humiliation associated with them, or, you know, some other sense of
Yes, bad things can happen, and then they can be worse things, and they can be double worse, and you know, so and this just adds to how much meaning that thing's going to have to one person versus another person based on just how much was piled on that, how critical a moment it was, how important an event it was that got ruined or some other thing. And you can fail in all kinds of a little failure, I just missed failure, you know, those are the best kind, right? The ones you just miss, you know, where you appreciate, oh wow, I was just so close to failing. And that gives you some appreciation for being careful and preventing failure. So those are the really good ones, the ones where you just miss disaster.
Failure, like wetting your pants or something. And so the event itself would be minorly unpleasant, but because of some other, the way you experience the event, it made the event that much worse. So yeah, having...
And we all have this neuroses of having these emotional reactions to things. So you see people hysterically overemphasize the importance of something, and you know, they have their focus seems totally inappropriate. Again, wearing a meteor hat or something, there's probably somebody wearing one, you know, like thinking, hey, I'm being really smart as I'm covering my, you know, the risk bases. You know, they're eating junk food, you know, from Guatemala or something, you know, some place covered in diseases, and they're wearing a meteor hat. You're just saying, wow, there's such a logical disconnect about the real risk here. But it's because they have a personal experience where, you know, a meteor came real close.
Flu is bad. Having the flu or catching the flu when you're on a business trip is much worse, that kind of thing. So you could condition a cyborg to have what I would call the psychological or neurotic aspects of, you know, existing as a thinking thing, as an intelligence, as a collection of ideas or notions. The best called programs.
See, there's the takeaway from this is there's certain things I'm trying to say, and I'm probably not saying them well enough. But you know, one of the important ones is there's these two brains we have, this feeling one and this thinking one, and in a sense they're not directly connected. The world view and the personal view. The short term, the quick response, the reflex, the quick reflex versus the long reflex, where you take the time to think it all through. And the point is, though, is that even, you know, these feeling thing is so powerful that it overwhelms the logic of the thoughtful process. So some fears, it just doesn't matter if somebody tells you 99.99999% of spiders will not bite you. Okay, encounters with spiders. You know, it's just not going to help when you're phobic. You know, when your body is reacting to the image, it's just not going to help. You know, when you're physiologically reacting, when you feel bad.
But you know, some people think a program is alien from just an association or connection to a simple way of diagramming a group of functions. And for us, the program is you associate one thing with another thing, and then that associates with another thing, and then that ends up resulting in a calculation of do something or don't do something based on how you weight the consequences of doing it and how you perceive their odds of those consequences. So that's another part that makes it all kind of subtle. This being human, is that we all have a different appreciation for something like that. You could say, oh, it's lightning outside. Somebody could tell you, well, you know, statistically, the odds of you get...
All right, so again, just pointing out that the personal program, what happened to me personally, it just ends up being more persuasive than the abstract, contextual understanding that there's very low odds, blah blah blah, all this statistical crap just can't mean too much when you're physiologically reacting, and especially when some of those physiological reactions, I've brought up vertigo before, and because it's, you know, from personal experience with it, it's just such a profound overreaction, this physiological reaction. And it's so, even though you know logically it doesn't make any sense, even though you're sitting there saying to yourself it makes no sense, it's not a threat. You're physiologically sick, and you just can't do anything with that information. The information just doesn't fix it.
Being hit by the lightning are 1 in 1 million. Now that can mean, oh my God, don't do it. To one person, and it can mean, oh yeah, there's, this is.
So risk assessment is that's where it gets really mushy. Like what's exactly an acceptable risk? In terms of, so most people think it's an acceptable risk that there's a 10% chance that when you have a kid, he's going to have some deformity, something from mild to horrible, but some kind of thing that'll have to be corrected, or something will have to be done that's not pleasant, to fix it. Now, some people say, well, that's an acceptable risk. And other people can say, no, I mean, that's just way too high a risk. I mean, why would you subject that 1 in 10 to that unpleasantness for this, trivial experience of, playing God?
Something I can get away with because there's very little chance I'm going to be harmed. So it just depends on how you appreciate what it means to embrace a risk. So I could say that I'm maybe more risk averse than some people because I realize that if I keep entering lotteries that have a 1 in a million chance of me winning, if I enter a million lotteries, I have a 50-50 chance of winning.
So these are just, in some ways, arguments against, I'm almost using as analogies or evidence, the common things that people do, which is not understand that although there's low risk to an event, we're doing lots of events, and when you add up all those events, that's a lot of tickets you've bought, and they're all negative lotteries, and the odds increase that one of those rare events is going to happen. So it really doesn't matter that the odds of your kid being autistic might be 1 in 200 or 500, because the odds of him being something else is also that kind of number, and there's probably 200 conditions that are decidedly negative. Alcoholism, lots of stuff. So you're sentencing the kid to more like a 50-50 risk if you add up all the risks.
So you're one of those lotteries. So
you just know it's like you're throwing somebody. You're gonna finance your kid into attempting to be an Olympic champion. I mean, you know right on the face that it's going to be very long odds of him succeeding and winning the gold medal, or the silver medal, or the bronze medal, and that the likelihood is failure. And then even the silver and the bronze are almost a kind of failure. I mean, second place sucks.
In our lives, we're constantly at risk, and so any risk we can evade or prevent means that's one less ticket I'm buying to disaster, means there's less chance I'm going to win. And the chances, that's just a fact. And it's a fact you have to kind of live with, is that, why...
And so many people are doing these risk experiments from positions where their odds are so much more likely to fail. I mean, failure is in their history. Both parents even, covered in failure in terms of genetics and behaviors and all kinds of things, and they can see it in their own family, the dysfunction and the failure, and they somehow think they're going to rise above that. Somehow they're going to evade the permutations that sort of dictate more of the same.
Why, unless there's something really substantial to be gained, why take the risk? Why invite winning the negative lottery? So what I'm arguing is that there is no versus here.
So what I'm arguing in a sense too is the robot, if we made him a thinking machine, he would do the long processing and always draw conclusions that none of the risks are worth it really. And it's only because of the neuroses gene You know, the neurotic self-interest mechanism, where the robot could have any sense of, oh yes, we need to send a spaceship to Mars and colonize Mars, or some other stupid project for which there is no real gain to be had in any logical sense. There just isn't. And you know, our own sense of preserving our life and all this other stuff, it just doesn't make much sense. Clearly there's not an arbitrary date where, oh yes, I'm all done, I'm finished, I don't have any more ambition, time to die. It just doesn't happen. You know, we don't get enough food. You know, we don't cease to dream about future victory. But a synthetic intelligence wouldn't have that liability.
Erase that. Yeah, that's the fun of this whole thing, right? I can just erase that part. You know, it doesn't really do selective erasing very well. I guess I'll have to find something else to erase selectively. And I can just put an equal sign. Because, yes, we're just robots. We're not really any different than a theoretical cybernetic organism would be. Except the only part I would say is kind of complicated is the biological mechanism that allows us to perceive feelings. You know, and you know, so the idea of a sensation is kind of abstract from what we do when we're just daydreaming or...
Right, so I'm just saying that the simple part is scheming. The hard part is scheming for what? Defining the values. And the values are primarily defined by our subjective sense or feeling, what we feel about it, what it, you know. And it's superficial, it's book by the cover, it's based on personal experience, and we have to apply a bit of discipline to know, oh yeah, those feelings are often full of shit, and I have to do some thinking about the script I'm reading. You know, I have to think about whether, does it make any real sense for me to go there and do this and do that and do, what's the cost to benefit analysis? And that's what people should be doing, is recognizing their innate impulses are garbage, and they always need to be scrutinized logically.
Thinking, in terms of that, part of it seems kind of more modelable in our brains as an event. You know, the sequence of connecting cat to the word dog, and then connecting dog to the word leash, and then leash to the word chain, and then chain to the word slavery. I mean, doing that word association thing, connecting words, seems kind of mechanical, like 80.
Right. So a simple argument is that the processing part, the scheming part, just has to do with understanding that, you know, why would I choose to go around the right side of the tree? It's because I've learned from experience that it's shorter. Because I'm, you know, I have a bias in that direction already, and it's going to be a shorter path, and shorter means I'll save time, and I'll have more time to waste once I'm on the other side of the tree. That kind of thing. And that's really just, that's easy to duplicate. An iPad can do that. The iPad can't do the neurotic part of being an idiot who says, but I don't like going right. That part it can't do.
C blocks, kind of logical, where the sensation of feeling uncomfortable or unsettled or queasy or uneasy or scared or nervous, they're much more less tangible, less digital, more analog, less precise, less cognizable as a thing, as a mechanical thing. A lot harder to understand as a mechanical thing. But they're just as mechanical as the thoughts. They're just from a register that the biological mechanism can touch, can make, because it created some kind of feeling thing, some sort of vulnerable mush that can be poked and to be made to feel burpy or something, physical.
So just a lot of words to say. Yeah, feelings are just, they dominate. They attempt to. They do. It's a practical matter. They're just powerful. And a wise person understands that it's not a fair fight, that their power wasn't earned. It's just part of the biological mechanism, and it isn't rational, and it isn't superior, and it isn't your first choice isn't the best choice. That's just bullshit.
That has connected to it making you lethargic, or making you excited, or making you depressed, or it's a subtle feeling, an attitude, a mood. So mood might be a good word. Can a robot do mood? Is not written very well. Can it do that? Can it synthesize?
So again, that would be all you're really, if you want to make it more human, you're really just making it stupid by giving it a mood, by giving it an attitude, I don't feel like it today, kind of irrationality. Does that irrationality make it function better or worse? And the obvious answer, I think, is a lot worse.
Something that would be a mood, and I guess I'm arguing that it probably won't do it the way a biological organism can sense it, but you could create something that takes its place in how our brain functions, something that degrades the logic of the processor. So we could be very logical in terms of how we add up word associations, how we connect 5 to 4 to 3, recognize how numbers are connected, and just the same thing, concepts that we experience in life are connected. Flour and war and disease and all these things are connected by a bunch of concepts, words, and they have things that tie them to each other, even though...
Again, too many words there for sure. So it's again just the difference between they're both word association, and one is done on this personal level, like what did it make me feel while I was making word associations, what happened to me, and one is understanding the big picture, how the world works, the fundamental elemental mechanism. And so again, I would argue that the power we have is the fact that we can see the process. We can see ourselves reading a script, and we can see ourselves reading bad scripts, making a bad movie, and we can understand that. And that just requires us to be humble enough to admit when we're doing that. Where things like Brett Keane can't do. Can't understand when his script sucks.
There are different kinds of events. They're made out of the same thing, and our brain logically can understand the difference between a fun park and a foxhole in a war. That the two experiences are different, that you're going to experience different sensations, and that one is qualitatively a preferable event for a consciousness to experience than the other one.
So, and the problem is that people have this bias in the sense that if they don't see it, they don't acknowledge it. They don't, and if they don't see it in some personal way, we see this all the time. It has to happen to them. They have to have the car accident. They have to have the humbling experience that gives them appreciation for the real risk, and then they'll stop speeding, or they'll stop doing some other obnoxiously stupid thing. So until they feel it often, and that's the problem. And I'm just arguing for the simple logic of, no, we can all figure this out. We can all figure out when we're being obnoxious gratuitously or unnecessarily. I see these defects in my own personality, my own reactions, and I have to say that as a mechanism, yeah, I've seen real value in understanding it as this reading a bad script. So in the old days they would say something like, well, count to 10, when you're angry, or do something else. Well, a simple thing to do also would be just recognize that you're reading script, and is what you're reading now, what you're going to do, you can see it in front of you, where you're heading. Does that have any likelihood of fixing anything, or is it just going to make it worse? And you can see that ahead of time. And you can know, it's time to find some other script to read, because this one isn't going to work.
We should have some agreement on these things. If it wasn't for this mood thing that gets in our way, or this attitude thing, or these...
So this in the bigger picture would be just an argument for all these glib assholes who keep arguing for, affirming life's value, and life is precious, and life must be go on, and all this nonsense. They ought to take a look inside and say, is that really a script that goes anywhere? Are you attempting to satisfy or resolve some personal issue, by advocating, like you're just being defensive and you're just trying to validate your own existence or some other kind of crap. You're trying to defend your own existence, and this really isn't about defending the creation of some new organism that may not have any of the sensations you have associated with the things you associate them with. It won't function the way you're functioning. It won't have your life. It's going to have a completely different life. And are you really that sure it's going to be a life worth living? And where do you get that assurance from? And where do you think you have the right to harm even one victim who will not appreciate your experiment?
And the bigotries that are an expression of them. The fact that our thinking brain keeps regurgitating negatives and becomes intolerant. You end up with some attitude where you have a zero tolerance and impatience and a frustration with the fact that something continues to happen even though you think somebody should prevent it by now, or something should be fixed and it's not fixed. All these things that logically you say shouldn't exist, and that they do exist, and you understand that there's no good reason for them to exist. So
it's kind of too many words to basically just point out that iPads don't get frustrated, and then start getting desperate for answers. Start grasping at straws to solve the problem. Start getting too aggressive. Reading a dumb script, a script that can't possibly work. And they don't make that mistake. We do. But we can correct for it by understanding it.
Acquire a sense that it's unacceptable and it's wrong, and so then you become blinded by almost that emphasis, and will be almost an enemy to the process it might take to fix it, because you're saying it should be fixed now, instead of having enough patience to say, well, maybe it'll take 10 years. Somebody could argue that even things like the Civil War were a consequence of a bit of impatience, requiring the South to civilize quicker than it realistically could imagine. Maybe they could have dragged it out a little, gave them a little more latitude, and prevented, what happened.
I think they gave him 10 years or something. They probably could have given him 30, and maybe that would have worked. I don't know. There just could have been a little bit more negotiation. That's what you're sort of arguing. The two sides got frustrated and decided, well, we don't have any solution. And clearly, if they had a little bit better understanding of what was going to take place, they maybe would have sat at the table a little longer.
So there's no real context for this, except that I saw a movie that had androids in it, and the androids didn't know they were androids, that kind of thing, and there's just somehow this contrast between the actual person and the duplicate person, as if there could be any meaningful difference except in the way feelings are expressed. And then they ended up sort of giving the androids neuroses, making them, in a way, power hungry, and giving them the neurotic defects of humans. And those neurotic defects could really only exist if the human could become impatient or frustrated or in some way feel an urgent need to fix something, rather than just the understanding that, well, there's a process and I have to find the most efficient process to the change, so they shouldn't be impatient or any of those things. So in a sense, they gave them feeling attributes, even though they couldn't realistically have feeling attributes. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just saying, ironically, they were giving them the consequences of feelings without the feelings, because they thought those are somehow innate, and they're not innate. They require us to have our neuroses. Our neuroses creates those conclusions, nothing else does, and they sort of think they're innate conclusions like love or something, when clearly it's all just emotional mush.
There wasn't any storyline that provided that option. All right, anyway, and then there's the modern mystic made a video kind of implying that you see different kinds of people in the world, and the simple argument is they didn't make themselves that kind of person. The criminals didn't make themselves a criminal, the fat ass didn't make themselves a fat ass, the straggly-haired neurotic didn't make himself that either, the troll, even on the internet, who sees great success in just spewing, his perception of victory and his notion that he's accomplishing something valuable, that he's doing some service. All of those things aren't because he's made some calculation that figured that out. It's that he or she has some notions based on their life experience that this is how you live.
Again, kind of more words, but yes, clearly we're byproducts, and the more stuff you expose yourself to that isn't your personal experience, which is hard to do, right? I mean, everything you personally experience. You can read Moby Dick and you're going to personally experience the novel. But there will be information in it. There will be insights into psychology and that kind of thing. But I guess I would argue that to really understand things analytically, you have to go to somebody who knows who has done some sort of analytical investigation, and to give you those insights. And going to some mystic or guru isn't the place to look. You look at somebody who's attempted to write it down on a piece of paper and make sense out of it, to logically add it up and understand what our brain is doing, what it's running on.
So maybe it's like somebody who's, the father of an alcoholic that become an alcoholic, or some other kind of syndrome where the environment clearly took some person and made them very different from what they would have been if they hadn't been influenced by those life experiences. And so they're all just life experiences that put us in a position to be empathetic or cruel or all of those things. And so he was sort of arguing that this is a lot more generic, and that there was no attention paid to the value of understanding in terms of correcting for the obvious negative defects. So clearly people have a complete...
So again, this goes back to why do I make videos and why do Brett Keane make the videos he makes? And clearly in our life experience there was something different, in the sense that I acquired an effort to win, an honest trophy, and he just said, get it any way you can. Because that's how he understood the world works versus how I understood how you play the game.
Lack of awareness. It's like somebody who has their radio on in their car, driving down the street, and their radio is shaking the walls of people's houses. Now clearly they could have had the experience of having that happen, somebody drive by and making a noise when, say, they were trying to have a conversation, they can't have the conversation anymore, something. You would think they would have some experience that would give them some knowledge that, well, I wouldn't want to do that to somebody else because I wouldn't want somebody doing it to me. Now, the inverse is that somehow they could be really deaf by now, and so they have no appreciation for noise. Maybe they grew up in an environment, like here is pretty close to a highway, and then there's people everywhere and cars everywhere, so there's noise. And if you're raised in noise, then maybe noise is a normal thing, and you have no appreciation for how irritating it can be to somebody who isn't used to noise. But you'd still say there's got to be some kind of logic.
So just providing just kind of an obvious example of why people can lack appreciation. Because yes, they have been raised in a circumstance completely different, where completely different things rose above the noise, where they didn't hear the same things.
That would be intrinsic to all humans would have some experience and understand simple things like, I wouldn't want a fish hook in my eye. And so you say logically, well, there's people who are fishing.
Right, so this is like this is a better analogy in the sense of just pointing out that this isn't that complicated, though. We really can understand things that are not a good thing to do, risky, that put somebody else at risk, and understand putting somebody else at risk is wrong. So that simple idea could be understood by anyone, no matter where they're raised. I mean, it's just such a simple thing. And the fact that they negate it, because they're so distracted by this selfish impulse, that's sort of a whole kind of a different psychology. It's not just that their environment was different. It's that it was so different that somehow they didn't realize they're not allowed to be a selfish cunt. It's not a good thing.
Not even looking behind them, when they're casting. They're not even looking if they're going to hook somebody in the eye. They're not paying attention at all. And you're saying, well, how can they be that unaware? Because it doesn't seem possible that people can have this much diversity. That you could have two people standing next to each other fishing, and they've both done it before, and one is
critically aware of being careful, and one is completely oblivious to any idea that they have to be. And you're saying, how could two human beings come out that way? Could that? I would argue there's a clear bias towards the one who understands that it's a lot harder to fix a hook in the eye than it is to prevent the hook in the eye. So don't do the hook in the eye thing. Prevent it. And it takes a little energy to prevent it. So there's clearly a rational bias towards the person who looks, and there's a rational bias against the asshole who doesn't.
Right. So this is just clearly a counter argument to the stupid statement by Brett Keane that somehow I don't believe that there's ethics that are objective and clearly well evidenced and proven to be the truth. And the truth is prevention, in most cases, is a lot cheaper than allowing the accidents.
And that's the point that
accidents in quotes.
I think needs to be emphasized, is that we're
accidentally on purpose.
We're not victims of just having some program that says, I feel like it, or I don't feel like it. We have knowledge. And so we're almost back to the argument I've made before, that we're reading a script in our life. I mean, our programming is our programming. Our life experience is our life experience, and it writes a script. But the value we have is that we can see the script we're reading. So if I'm playing my music too loud, I can read that in the script, that yes, my music's really loud. I know that. Okay, I can tell when it's loud, when it's not. I can see the volume control. I know you go up and down. I have some sense of what volume is. And I clearly have a notion that, well, just like anything else I might excrete, sound or smells or anything else, I really, ideally, don't want to do it on somebody else, unless it has a purpose, unless they're Nazis or something. Then I don't mind smelling a little bit. But otherwise, I want to not do that, just out of the same courtesy.
Right. So it's just one of these things where you're just saying it's hard to imagine somebody deprived of this information, that as you turn the knob up, the sound travels further, and that it might hit other people's ears, and that they might not like your music. I mean, wow. That truth should not be a mystery to anyone.
I would expect to get. So we're just out of the simple logic that, if I do it to them, then they're going to do it to me, kind of thing. So I won't do it to them, and then maybe they won't do it to me. But it shouldn't even be a maybe, because logically you think everybody should be able to do this simple adding up of their living circumstance. They should be able to figure out, I live in a world with other people have to breathe air, and they have to do the same things I'm doing, and I shouldn't be doing something to pollute their water, or to pollute their air, or to pollute their...
I should be especially sensitive to the fact that they could be having a bad day. They could be having a migraine headache or something else, and I'm just going to make their life horribly miserable. I mean, man, that takes a lot of neurons to get. No, it doesn't take many at all.
Their environment, unnecessarily. So there should be some necessity to being annoying. You shouldn't be annoying gratuitously, and without at least doing the calculation and saying I'm worth it somehow. That somehow it's necessary for me to have music so loud that people 4 or 5 blocks away can hear it. There has to be some reason why I need that, and I don't know what headphones are, and that I can't do anything to mitigate the fact that I'm going to annoy people, and I clearly have no reason not to be able to figure that out. So the point is sort of that I would argue that there's enough facts right here in front of us that there should be some rules, and I guess we make some of those. We can figure out that you're not allowed to murder people, and you're not allowed to do certain things, and we pass laws. But the laws are in so many ways insufficient to prevent people from doing stupid things like talking on their cell phone while they're driving and crashing in your...
Yeah, I saw a government employee, a town employee, just plow into the back of a car the other day. He wasn't going fast, only going like 5-10 miles an hour, but just not paying attention, just drove right into their car. I mean, stupid stuff that you're saying, that really probably shouldn't happen. Probably shouldn't. I mean,
car and causing you a big pile of inconvenience, for no good reason, because they couldn't take, an extra few seconds of inconvenience. Yeah, so there's so many rudenesses, and then it gets to the whole philosophical subjects of there's so much diversity in the sense that people are somehow allowed to believe almost any kind of nonsense and be considered equally functional as a robot or a human, as a machine. That they can believe all kinds of nonsense and it's somehow okay.
And we all get away with it. That's the problem, right? Poor performances aren't written on our chest somewhere. We don't have a record that we have to walk around with. That I'm one of the assholes who deliberately pokes holes in his muffler to make the thing too loud. I bought a motorcycle with no muffler on it. Some kind of it should be a part of the statement. One of the tattoos on their arm should be asshole who can't figure out the engine's way too fucking loud. You know, we really should be tattooed with our life so we can all understand that, oh yeah, it doesn't take much brains to figure out being obnoxious is not a good fucking thing to be.
And that there's no obligation to add up any of these numbers rationally. That somehow they can do 1 + 1 = 17, or whatever they're 11. You know, so whatever they want to do, whatever they have some reason to do, in the sense that they've had some reason through their life experience to think religion is necessary, or somehow it's rational, or some other kind of silly belief. And then you can get into this with all these arguments about physics, and there just doesn't seem to be any hard rules about how evidence is weighed, the processing of the trial. So I guess a trial would be a good example, because often there's juries that end up hung, and well, first the process of selecting a jury. Like, you know, why is that so loud? I'm hearing their voicemail. I don't have their phone up that loud.
Sorry. Yeah, just didn't pick the best time, I suppose. But anyway, alright, so enough of that. Yeah, so it's all viewable, and there's really no excuse for people who say diversity is a great thing or all this kind of crap, because there really shouldn't be any. We all should have really common understandings of these basic rules, and make some effort not to violate them. And the problem is that most of what civilization creates is silly rules like Elvis Presley ain't allowed to swivel his hips. Well, no, you just don't have to watch the Elvis Presley show. I mean, that's the solution. The solution is don't watch. You don't like something, don't watch it. But it became them moralizing, somehow saying, even when you're not bothering me personally, or anybody personally, even when you're not raping anyone, you're not allowed to have sex. You know, that kind of thing. That's where they took their morality and said, I don't care that it doesn't hurt me in any way, I'm going to stop you from doing it. So instead of having rational ethics about behaviors that could possibly matter, and clearly in the case of reckless reproduction, this has huge consequences in terms of being very destructive. Poor people thinking they're not poor, that kind of thing. You know, thinking they're somehow entitled to, you know, make a Frankenstein on the cheap. You know, they were not even going to do it with any hope of getting it right. Yeah, those things should be understood to be just obnoxiously stupid. So anyway, enough. More than obnoxiously stupid, just rationally understood as being illogical, not good thinking. Wrong answer. Yeah, wrong answer. Having 4 kids when you're poor, wrong answer. Okay. So anyway, enough said, until the next time and such. Yeah, I'm experienced personally, right? Personally, I just don't feel great. A few little miseries, blah blah blah, and you know, it's hard to fake enthusiasm for the process. But anyway, okey doke. Anyway, so yes, more dysfunction created by subjective personal crap. Wrong button. This is the one I need. Okey doke. So, till next time.